A woman is featured dressed in a striking red dress. Her expression appears strained as the spaceship experiences turbulence in the depths of space. However, it becomes clear that this is just a nightmare and she awakens from her sleep. Meanwhile, a well-built handsome man named Professor Allen gives a lecture on an ancient artifact discovered in Navajo City. The artifact, depicted on a large screen, is a stunning enigma, and Professor Allen strives to unravel its history and secrets for his one audience, a stunning woman named Scout who appears to be his colleague and girlfriend. Instead of inquiring about the artifact, she teases and asks if Professor Allen has any plans for the evening. Allen approaches her, and during their flirting, they also briefly discuss if they can indeed truly uncover the mystery of that artifact and lead to a breakthrough. Their conversation continues uninterrupted until Professor Allen's phone rings. It is Brian on the other end, informing Allen that he requires more time to present his latest discovery. It is an artifact that is still unknown. Hearing the news, Professor Allen begins to doubt Brian's academic abilities and expresses that he will never be able to surpass him. The two educators engage in a competitive conversation, each trying to prove their superiority over the other. However, the tone of the conversation shifts when Brian asks if Professor Allen plans to watch the CNN news tonight. With that, the call ends abruptly. After ending the call, Professor Allen resumes his plans with Scout and reveals that Brian's call was a calculated attempt to steal the spotlight from him. Meanwhile, in a secluded location, Brian rehearses his speech as he prepares to showcase his discovery to someone. Just as he finishes practicing, he is taken aback by the unexpected arrival of Mr. Richards. Despite being caught off guard, Brian tries to assure Mr. Richards that his discovery is unique and that their journey to see it will not be a waste of time. However, Brian is disappointed to learn that the only person accompanying Mr. Richards is his facilitator, Nicole. Nevertheless, Brian continues to emphasize the importance of his discovery to Mr. Richards, hoping to convince him of its worth. They make their way to Brian's discovery. Mr. Richards is astounded by what he sees, and they approach the artifact to take a closer look. Brian asserts that the artifact, which appears to be in pristine condition with no scratches or damages, is actually 14,000 years old. However, Mr. Richards expresses his doubts and asks for more credible sources to verify the history of the artifact. In response, Brian shows and explains the meaning of each intricate detail, claiming that it is an alien spaceship. He encourages Mr. Richards to hold the artifact and feel its power, saying that the language engraved on it is unique and cannot be found anywhere else. Brian supports his claims through the studies of geologists and hieroglyphics, capturing Mr. Richards' interest and igniting his desire to learn more. As Mr. Richards takes in the surprise of what he just heard, Brian reveals that there is even more to learn. He reaches down to the ground and invites Mr. Richards to do the same, explaining that the sand has the same vibrations as when he touched the artifact. Mr. Richards is left in awe by his discovery and quickly calls over his facilitator, Nicole. Little does Brian know, this decision will put his life in danger. As soon as Nicole receives the call from her boss, she swiftly comes in and wraps her hands around Brian's neck, strangling him until he loses consciousness. Mr. Richards praises Nicole on her quick reaction and warns her that they must keep their discovery a secret at all costs. He wants to keep the nature and secrets of the artifact under wraps until he can fully understand it. A moment later, Mr. Richards walks into the room where Allen and Scout are without announcing his arrival, not bothering to seek anyone's permission first. Scout and Allen's dinner plans are interrupted as he walks in unexpectedly. Without any beating around the bush, Mr. Richards gets straight to the point, revealing his motives. He tells the couple that in addition to his recent discovery, he has uncovered something even more ancient, an artifact that is over 14,000 years old. The news piques the couple's interest, and Mr. Richards directs them to look at the big screen. As they peer at the image, their curiosity grows and they begin to ask for more information about the artifact. However, Mr. Richards admits that he can't answer all of their questions and that the reason for his visit is to ask for their help in figuring out the ancient artifact. Without any hesitation, Scout and Allen agree to help and the negotiation process begins. The following day, Mr. Richards takes Scout and Allen to the location where the ancient artifact is located. As they are given a tour, the couple's amazement doubles as they see the artifact with their own eyes. Allen walks around the artifact, holding it and feeling that there is something mysterious that needs to be uncovered. Meanwhile, Scout is studying the artifact in detail, noticing that it has handwritten writings that need to be translated. Mr. Richards makes it clear that they desperately need their help in uncovering the mysteries of the artifact. Though Allen argues that the only thing they can help with here is the translation, Scout eagerly disagrees and promises Mr. Richards that they can do the job. Allen remains quiet for a moment before finally agreeing with Scout, despite his doubts. Scout continues to closely examine the artifact and notices the handwritten carvings on it. She touches the artifact and suddenly has a vision. In the vision, Scout sees herself wearing a red spacesuit and encounters a beautiful curly-haired girl wearing a red dress. However, the girl disappears in a flash of fire. That night, Scout can't sleep. As she lies in bed, she can't stop thinking about the vision she experienced. Later on, she gets out of bed and goes straight to the room to take another look at the artifact, admiring its beauty. In the morning, the council members, who are all influential figures in the field of archaeology, sit attentively as Mr. Richards invites Scout and Alan to take the stage. Scout begins by sharing her findings, pointing out the intricate carvings that adorn the artifact and explaining that they are made with the intention of delivering a message. She goes on to describe the vision she had of a mysterious girl in a red dress and speculates that the carvings might hold clues about the girl's identity. Alan, who has been a bit skeptical about the whole thing, chimes in to offer his support, adding that they are eager to uncover the truth about the artifact and the message it holds. The council members listen intently, impressed by the couple's passion and dedication. They ask a few questions about the artifact, and finally, Mr. Richards wraps up the presentation by thanking the couple for their contribution. The council members leave the room, deep in thought about the implications of this new discovery. It seems that the mystery of the artifact and the enigmatic girl is far from being solved, and Scout and Alan are ready to continue their quest for the truth. As the introduction comes to an end, Alan proudly informs the group that the handwriting etched into the artifact was made by humans from the past. According to him, these handwritings were intentional and meant to deliver an emotional message, which Scout will present. Scout takes the stage, retrieving a piece of paper from her pocket. She begins her story by explaining that the message comes from someone who once attempted to bring about a new world to Earth, but ultimately failed. Scout speaks with intense passion, her words driven by the tale she tells. At one point, she even stops reading from the paper and continues speaking spontaneously, as if she is being possessed by a girl from her dreams, guiding her in what she says. After Scout concludes her story, the council convenes and decides that their job is complete, informing them that they will now receive their salary for the research. However, Scout feels that the decision made by the council is unjust. She strongly argues that the discovery is far from over and that they must continue working together. Despite her passionate plea, the council remains firm in its decision. Scout continues to express her frustration and dissatisfaction, reiterating that they deserve better recognition for uncovering the mysterious message. But Alan steps in, trying to calm her down before they head home. Back at their office, Eli, their friend, has prepared balloons and drinks to celebrate their victory, eager to commemorate their success. When Scout and Alan arrive, they are pleasantly surprised by Eli's efforts, but Scout explains that she will only drink, declining to celebrate. Alan tries to convince Scout to abandon her pursuit of the discovery, but to her, it is more than just a job. She explains that the message and mystery could potentially have a profound impact on the world. Hearing her persuasive words, Alan eventually agrees with her. Feeling reinvigorated, Scout goes to Eli and announces that she is now ready to drink and celebrate alongside them. However, at that moment, the picture on the big screen crashes and Alan goes to investigate the technical issue. He turns to Scout for guidance, and as they work behind the screen, the couple shares a moment of affection. Alan kisses Scout, attempting to take a momentary break from the celebration. However, they are unaware that even though they are hidden from view, the lights in the room still reflect their intimate moment, allowing Eli to see everything. At this moment, someone rings the doorbell, and Eli makes his way to open the door. To his shock, he is greeted by Nickel, who unceremoniously fires at him on the spot. Nickel then proceeds to shoot wildly, causing the mantle to fall and providing cover for the nearby couple. Though Nickel tries to feign concern for the couple by calling out to them, after a minute she assumes that they are both dead. She then douses Ellie's body in oil and flicks her cigarette. A blazing fire erupts, reducing his body to ashes. Meanwhile, Mr. Richards is engrossed in his work, exploring the full potential of the artifact, which turns out to be a machine through the technology at their disposal. It soon becomes clear that the machine is not just a simple triangle, but a massive ship with a wealth of untapped power. Outside, another researcher is trying to unravel the secrets of the artifact. She shares her findings with the group, explaining that the artifact is incredibly sturdy and demonstrates its strength by smashing it with a hammer. As everyone else is occupied, Alan and Scout have secretly been recording their movements, hoping to use the footage to expose Mr. Richards' sinister motives. Suddenly, the researcher warns that the artifact is starting to reactivate its engine, and it is imperative that they act quickly to prevent it from launching into space. As Mr. Richards approaches the ship, he weighs his options, but then he spots Alan. He calls out to him, and Alan Brakely steps forward, saying that he has evidence that could be used to expose Mr. Richards' actions to the world. However, Mr. Richards' power proves to be too great. He summons his followers, who then open fire on Alan. A helicopter soon arrives, raining bullets down on Alan, leaving no doubt as to the outcome of the confrontation. At this moment, Scout wakes up, crying uncontrollably. As it turns out, what happened before is just a nightmare of hers. Alan tries to comfort her, letting her know that the nightmare is not real and will never become a reality. He embraces her in a hug, which brings her immense comfort. Later, Scout goes for a drive, ending up listening to a radio where a pastor is preaching about life's destiny. This sparks Scout's curiosity, making her wonder if she has a destined mission to fulfill. She arrives at her destination, a cafe, where she orders a coffee. The waitress, noticing that Scout seems down, offers her a sundae on the house and strikes up a conversation. During their chat, Scout's phone rings. Somehow, the waitress advises her not to answer, warning that her location could be traced through technology. Scout follows the advice and places her phone on the sundae instead, hiding from whoever might be calling. As it turns out, her intuition is correct. Meanwhile, in a grand office with impressive interior design, Mr. Richards is giving updates on their latest project. Once the meeting concludes, Scout steps forward, brandishing a knife and placing it against Mr. Richards' neck. Just as Scout is about to strike, Nicole intervenes, protecting her boss. With her weapon taken away, Scout is powerless and complies with Mr. Richards' demands, dropping to her knees. Mr. Richards grants Nicole the authority to kill Scout, but before she can carry out the order, Mr. Richards realizes that he is on a live video call. A man on a video call makes a surprising save when he informs Mr. Richards that he needs Scout's help in deciphering the handwriting on an artifact. Withdrawing his previous orders to Nicole, the man brings Scout to the laboratory room. Inside, despite the manipulation and coercion to read the entire handwriting, Scout holds her ground and refuses to say anything. Frustrated, Mr. Richards takes Scout directly to the artifact and makes her touch it, causing her to feel a powerful energy surge within her. In a shocking turn of events, Mr. Richards ends up swallowing the artifact, causing everyone to scream in shock. An alien robot slowly rises from the artifact. Seeing that, Nicole and Scout are left paralyzed with fear and speechless. Nicole first tries to defend herself by shooting the alien robot, but she later puts down her weapon and flees. Unfortunately, the alien robot uses its laser to kill Nicole with a single shot to her eye. The alien robot is determined to capture Scout, who is also desperately trying to escape. Eventually, the alien robot manages to put Scout to sleep and carries her away on its shoulder. Meanwhile, the man in the laboratory room steps outside to see what is happening. The guy on the video call feels the ground beneath him shaking, and he watches in awe as the artifact, previously planted in the soil, rises up into the air and takes off like a rocket ship. Scout soon falls into a dream, where she finds herself on the moon, unclothed and standing in front of a blue alien robot in a spaceship suit. She approaches him slowly, bending down on her knees. Just as she reaches the alien robot, Mr. Richards wakes her up, bringing an end to her dream. As she opens her eyes, she is left in disbelief as her dreams seem to become a reality. The alien robot gazes into her eyes and presents her with a stunning red dress. Though Scout cannot interpret the alien robot's actions, Mr. Richards understands and commands her to undress and put on the red dress. After slipping into the dress, they both examine the monitor and are taken aback by what they see. They're already near the moon, despite just leaving Earth only a few minutes ago. The ship shakes as it lands safely on the moon, and the two of them are greeted by the appearance of the mysterious artifact on their monitor. Suddenly, a blue alien robot enters the camera frame, startling both Mr. Richards and Scout. The blue alien robot walks around the ship, and upon seeing a window, he sees an opportunity to get inside. He quickly breaks the window with his lasers, but as the spaceship is equipped with a protective shield, the blue alien robot becomes unconscious a few minutes later. As the blue alien robot drifts off to sleep, the red alien robot gently gestures for Scout to put on a red spaceship suit and retrieve an object resembling an eye. Scout is placing the object onto the enigmatic, beautiful artifact without hesitation. Mr. Richards tries to make light of the situation and reaches out to touch the red alien robot, which is incredibly protective and responds by trying to strangle him. Fortunately, Scout intervenes and commands the robot to stop its attack, causing it to immediately comply. Mr. Richards is in awe as Scout allows him to live, and he can't help but ask why she saved him. Scout responds by saying that she just did so because she might need him to do something for her in the future. As they walk outside, Mr. Richards attempts to manipulate the program's commands in an attempt to return to Earth and leave the moon behind. Initially, he is able to make the ship fly, but turbulence causes it to plummet rapidly to the ground, resulting in its destruction. After this, they continue on their quest to unravel the mysteries of the artifact when they are suddenly ambushed by another blue alien robot emerging from the sand. The two alien robots engage in a fierce battle, with the red alien robot exhibiting similar characteristics such as slow movements, laser attacks, and comparable features to her opponent. However, after defeating her rival, the red alien robot slowly loses consciousness. Just before she enters into an eternal sleep, she manages to pass on the artifact resembling a heart to Scout. Without hesitation, Scout places the object onto the enigmatic, beautiful artifact. As soon as the artifact is placed in the correct location, the surrounding sand begins to shake and the artifact reveals itself from its hiding place. Suddenly, a blazing fire erupts, illuminating the entire moon and turning the starry sky into daylight. Scout lets out a scream of bewilderment, unsure of what is happening. She decides to approach the house-like artifact to investigate further. As Scout approaches, she notices a code to open the doors and whispers to herself that she needs to finish her task. Upon entering the artifact, she finds the person from her dreams sleeping in a capsule. Suddenly, the girl from her dreams appears before her once again and expresses her gratitude that someone has finally fulfilled the mission she failed to complete. However, Scout is taken aback when she hears Mr. Richards calling her name, only to discover that it is actually just the face of Mr. Richards attached to the blue alien robot. The robot attempts to end her life, but Scout is quick-witted and knows how to terminate the robot's existence. She aims for the robot's eyes, causing it to slowly lose consciousness. Despite being powerless, the robot is still able to hear, and Scout uses this to her advantage by tricking the robot into following her voice outside. With the robot now out of the way, she continues on with what she now thinks is her destiny. She removes her spacesuit and changes into a stunning red dress. With determination, she stands in front of the capsule, places her hand on the button, and makes herself sleep, just like the deity resting beside her. The movie ends with a message that reads, "It is a new world, does not screw it up," and shows a plant sprouting from the surface of the moon, emphasizing the idea of a new beginning. This movie tells the story of humanity's ongoing pursuit of the unknown. It explores themes of ambition, competition, and our thirst for knowledge. One of the prominent features of the movie is the relationship between two scholars, Professor Allen and Brian, as they work to uncover the secrets of an ancient artifact. This highlights the intense drive and desire for knowledge that often propels individuals forward. The competition between these two characters serves as a reminder of how competition can both drive us to greatness and have negative consequences. Discovery and the quest for knowledge are key elements of the film. The desire to understand the unknown can be a strong motivator, even in the face of challenges. This is exemplified by the character Scout's unwavering determination to unravel the mysteries of the artifact. Additionally, Moontrap, Target Earth touches on the concept of the unknown and the dual nature of our fascination and fear of it. The mysterious object on the moon represents both our shared curiosity about the unattainable and our fear of venturing into the unknown. In conclusion, this movie offers a thought-provoking examination of the themes of ambition, rivalry, exploration, and the unknown. Through its characters and plot, the film encourages us to consider what motivates our quest for knowledge and the impact it may have on those around us.